Welcome back to Treasures from the Purans, a treasure chest of fascinating stories from the Puran genre of Indian literature. The curated stories in this series are from Srimad Devi Bhagavatam, which I have adapted for this podcast. I'm Valentina Trivedi, bringing you treasures from the Purans. Srimad Bhagavatam Punyam Nanakhyan Kavanvitam Dvaipayanamukhodbhutam Panchalakshana Sanyutam Shrinvatam Sarvapapagnam Shubhadam Sukhadam Tatha Itihasamidam Punyam Kirtitam Muni Sattamaha. Anybody who hears this Srimad Bhagavatam, endowed with 5 characteristics and filled with various anecdotes that came out of the mouth of Vyasa, finds all his sins destroyed and attains peace and blessedness. O Munis, this holy history has thus been described to you. Dear listeners, this episode showcases a very unique and important aspect of Hinduism, Shankaa Samaadhaan, or removal of doubts by persistent questioning. It has been the cornerstone of Hinduism, followed by all sincere spiritual seekers. The Bhagavad Gita, where Arjuna and Krishna have such a conversation, is a prominent example of it. In the 11th episode of this podcast, you heard the story of the Pandav descendant King Parikshit, who died an unnatural death due to a curse. His son Janmejay was a minor when his father died. When Janmejay came of age and ascended the throne, he was greatly perturbed about the manner in which his father had died. You can listen to the story of how he decided to seek revenge for it in the 12th episode of this podcast. Sage Ved Vyaas suggested that he listen to the Devi Bhagavatam composed by Ved Vyaas himself. It is the highest, most holy of Purans and is wonderful to listen to as it is full of interesting stories leading to auspicious results. You will find within it dharma or religion, artha or wealth, kama or desire, and moksha or liberation. Sage Vyas. King Janmejay agreed to listen to the Devi Bhagavatam, and the sage commenced to tell him all the fascinating stories of the Devi's glory. You have been listening to those stories in subsequent episodes. Vasaveya Muni Shrestha Sarva Jnana Nidheyanag Prashthumichamyaham Swamin Asmakam Kulavardhana. King Janmejay said, O Vasaveya, the chief among sages and the ocean of all knowledge, O sinless one, the lord and well-wisher of our clan, I now come to you with some questions which have arisen in my mind. I have heard but cannot understand why the illustrious son of Shursen, the pious and distinguished Vasudev, the father of Sri Krishna, who was the incarnation of Vishnu himself, was thrown in prison by Kans. What actions had he and his wife Devaki committed that Kans, the descendant of Yayati, killed the 6 infant sons of Devaki? And why did Sri Hari or Vishnu incarnate as the son of Vasudeva in Kansa's prison? And why did Sri Krishna, of indomitable prowess, not instantly release his parents from this imprisonment? I cannot conceive of fate having such an influence on high-souled people like the parents of the Supreme Being, Sri Krishna. Who were those sons of Vasudeva who were killed by Kans? And who was that girl child who, when thrown by Kans on a slab of stone, instantly rose up in the sky, assuming the form of the 8-armed Ashtabhuji goddess? How was it that Sri Krishna, born in a Kshatriya family, was taken to Gokul and generally known as one of a cowherd clan? O noble one, please explain to me how Sri Krishna satisfactorily performed a householder's duties when married to several wives. What were the glorious deeds that he performed in this incarnation, and how did he finally leave his mortal physical coil? Some of the feats performed by Sri Krishna cannot be accomplished by ordinary beings, while some of his actions are like those of ordinary men. Therefore, I cannot decide whether he was the incarnation of God or an ordinary mortal. Please remove these doubts by throwing the light of wisdom on Sri Krishna's life. I have heard that in days of yore, two high-souled divine sages, Nar and Narayan, were born as part incarnations of Vishnu. The sons of Dharma and Murti, together they performed severe penance in the region of Badrikashram. Dear listener, Nar and Narayan, representing the human and the divine souls respectively, are said to be present at Badrinath in the Himalayas even today, performing severe austerities and meditation for the welfare of the world. It is said that Arjuna and Sri Krishna were the incarnations of Nar and Narayan, respectively. How come the two sages were born in the bodies of Arjuna and Krishna without relinquishing their previous bodies? And when the twin sages had attained moksha or liberation by performing severe penance, how could they be born again in human form? If a Brahmin is free from desires and follows the path of peace, he becomes free from rebirth and is saved from being born in this world again. But in the case of Nar and Narayan, this seems to be reversed, as in the form of Arjuna and Krishna, they took up Kshatriya bodies. Did this happen due to some curse? Please explain the cause of this and remove my doubts. O noble one, continued King Janmejay, my mind is an ocean of doubts. It is said that the Yadav clan suffered annihilation because of a Brahmin's curse, and in spite of Sri Krishna being an incarnation of Vishnu, his family died because of the Kuru queen Gandhari's curse. How was it that Pradyumna, Sri Krishna's son, was kidnapped by the Asur Shambar when he was just 6 days old? Did Krishna, with his divine vision, not see this happening in his impregnable fortress of Dwarka? Couldn't he have prevented it? O Muni, after Krishna's ascension to heaven, why were his wives attacked by dacoits? The omniscient, omnipotent Krishna was born to destroy evil and preserve dharma. How then did he not kill those dacoits earlier? Also, no doubt he protected the virtuous Pandavas. But how did he condone the slaying of highly principled and morally upright people like Bhishma and Dronacharya? Led by the guidance of Sri Krishna, the Pandavas committed these horrible acts when they could have easily renounced everything and lived the simple life of mendicants, begging for alms, rather than kill these valiant warriors simply to satisfy their greed for a kingdom? On the other hand, even though the 5 Pandav brothers were devotees of Sri Krishna and observers of good conduct and practices, they still suffered terrible hardships. How come their virtuous deeds did not ensure that they lived pain-free? How did the highly virtuous Draupadi, who arose from a sacrificial fire and was utterly devoted to Sri Krishna, have to face appalling hardships over and over again? How could she be caught by the hair by the wily Dushasan and dragged to the royal assembly to be humiliated? Please tell me, O noble one, what terrible deeds did the Pandavas commit in their previous births that they had to face such hardships? O high-minded Muni, my ancestors performed the Rajasuya Yajna and still had to face so many difficulties. Why was this so? And why, O Muni, did my honorable father, born in this respectable clan, be so overcome with anger as to place a dead snake around a meditating ascetic's neck? No one born in a Kshatriya clan would show hatred and ill will towards an ascetic. Why then was my father so enraged when faced with the silence of the ascetic? All these thoughts and many other grave doubts are troubling my mind. O merciful saint, you are all-knowing. Please quell my doubts and relieve me of this disturbed state of mind. Dear listeners, our minds too are assailed with doubts of all kinds most of the time. Why did this happen? Or why did that not happen? Why has some misfortune befallen me? Why am I facing such hardships? Do listen to the next episode to find out the wise sage Ved Vyaas's answers on these matters. Dear listeners, if you have any feedback or suggestions, you can write to me at valentinatrivedi@myyahoo.com.